Hello friends, welcome to my channel Sushant Chesswise. Today we are at the next topic, endgame studies explained, and we are at the 26th position of our endgame studies. We have got a very familiar position which we have discussed before. Again it's white to play and win over here. In a typical pawn race situation, we try to take our king to the opponent's pawn's magic square and we capture it. At the same time, we try to see to it that the opponent's king doesn't manage to come to the square of our pawn. So white's most obvious move here, taking the pawn with kb7, of course fails. Black gets kb3. When we see the king has managed into the square of the pawn, after the move f4, kc4, king is right into the magic square of the pawn. And even after the move kc6, kd4, kd6, ke4, the pawn is simply captured. If white tries to block the black king with kb6, then also kb3, kc5, kc3. We see the move f4 now because king can't go to d4, but after b5, if kb5 then kd4, the race of pawn continues. f5, b4, f6, b3, f7, b2, f8 equal to queen, b1 equal to queen, and we see the black king is not badly placed here. So in spite of some queen checks, black can keep his king and queen in a safe position. Like any move like kd3 would allow queen f5 check and the queen would be taken. But the king can simply move to d2 and the queen can be interposed soon. And this position will be, of course, drawn. White has to go for the move kd6. The king tries to remain in the square of the pawn and tries to block the approach of the black king. So here, if kb3 is played, then we see that white just gets f4, kc4, f5, b5, f6, b4, f7, b3, f8, and the white pawn wins earlier and white will win the game. The move b5 looks like a main attempt, but after kc5, we see that the pawn is simply taken in both the variations, kb3 and kb2 both. After kb3, kb5, white uses this opposition and puts black in zugzwang. So after kc3, kc5, kd3, kd5, we see that black is caught in a strange zugzwang. The squares e4 and e3 both are guarded, and after ke to f4, the pawn, black king goes out of the magic square of the pawn, and after ke3 f5, the pawn races to queen. Similarly, after kb2 also, kb5, now kc3, kc5 leads to the previous variation. After king c2 here, white can just play f4. When we see that the king is not in the square of the pawn and the pawn directly promotes. So kd3, f5, ke4, f6, and black loses. So after kd6, it looks like it's totally over and there is nothing much black can do. But black has got a very important defense. He manages the same technique, plays the king to a3, not blocking the pawn and trying to come to the square of the pawn. So now white has to be very careful, because if he plays f4, then b5, f5, e4, f6, b3, f7, b2, f8 queens, b1 queens, and after the discovered check, nothing much is attained. Just the queen blocks the check and the game will be drawn. White has to play the move king c5. And now black is forced to go ka4 because b5 then just king takes b5. And now the race of pawn begins. f4, b5, f5, b4, king c4. Very important move. stopping the pawn on b3 and forcing the black king to waste moves and reach on the a3 square. The a3 square has a big significance here. We will find out why. f4, b5, f5, b4, king c4, b3, king c3, king a3, forced move, f6, b2, f7, and now we realize that f8 is going to come with a check, but it looks like black is going to queen first. So what's the problem? After king a2, f8 queen, we reach the same position. b1 equal to queen, f8 equal to queen, check, and we realize that after king a4, queen a8 check, kb5, qb7 check, kc5, queen takes the queen and white wins. After king a2, white exploits the poor placing of the king and queen, queen a8 check, and it's a mate because of the queen's placing on the b1 square. So it was a slightly tricky position, but I hope it's useful and instructive. Do like, share and subscribe the channel. Thanks for your time.